Vacaville, what we're going to tell you is not as important as what you're going to tell yourself. In fact, you already may have the answer. We're just here to help with the questions. For instance, which one of your neighbors will say something to convince you to steer clear of anything that might contain fentanyl? Is it your EMS captain?
It looks like a slow, painful death.
How about your superintendent?
This is a crisis in our community.
Your classmates?
I'm scared for our future.
How about the guy with the county expanding the availability of the antidote?
I've been there when people have taken their last breath.
How about the Vacaville mom?
I miss him so much, every day.
Or, you knew it was coming, the police officer.
I have pronounced people deceased from fentanyl overdoses.
All of these people live within a few miles of you. All of them can say the exact same thing.
Fentanyl has hurt me.
I've been hurt by fentanyl.
Yeah, fentanyl has hurt me.
Fentanyl has hurt me.
Fentanyl has hurt me and has changed my whole life.
Brendan, 74 minutes for response to Peabody.
You know, if a chart like this is talking about fentanyl deaths, which it is, it's not good. But these are national figures.
All right, she's overdosing. Do you know what she took?
Vacaville? Come on. Vacaville's different.
All over Vacaville. It's everywhere. And that's what I think is the scariest part.
I've responded to every one of these sectors within this city, and I've pronounced somebody dead in every single sector of color that you see on this map here.
I would say we're doing at least 1 or 2 a day. An ODs, not necessarily a death, but an overdose.
Graves did have an OD first thing this morning.
Corporal Stephen Gunderson used to work narcotics. He's now a patrol supervisor.
The average user is getting younger and younger and younger. The youngest overdose that I've dealt with was 13 years old.
We've been pronouncing more deaths in the last 2 years than we have in the last 20. The common theme is fentanyl.
We're here today to tell Anthony's story. He was a pitcher here at Vaca High. He had a nasty curveball. I loved coming to watch him.
Anthony is one of those that hurt me.
He was on the freshman team here, JV, and varsity.
He was local. He was somebody you wouldn't have expected, right?
He was coming home from a private pitching lesson, and he was in my car, and he got in an accident, but he did hurt his back.
The severe pain in Anthony's back was treated with legitimate doctor-prescribed pain pills. While his prescription ended, his pain did not, ultimately causing him to quit college.
Time went on, we come to find out that he was addicted to Oxycontin pills, and he started getting it off the street.
After counseling, Anthony stopped taking the pills. But months later,
he came to me in my kitchen and he was crying and he's like, "Mom, I did it again." And I was like, "Who are you getting it from? I thought you got rid of the..." He said, "I can get it from anybody." He was crying and he said, "Mom, I don't want to do this. I don't want to feel this way."
You know, it was a kid that knew he needed help, sought the help.
His family found the resources to enroll him in drug rehab, a month-long out-of-town program.
And he was a brand new person. I really thought he was going to be okay.
He wasn't. Less than a week later, after a family barbecue to celebrate his sobriety,
I'll never forget our last, in the kitchen, he hugged me tight when he wanted to leave him and his girlfriend were going to go watch a movie together. And so that was the last time I saw him and had his arms around me.
A day later, Danielle, a nurse, gets a call at work.
She said, "Anthony's not breathing." And I said, what do you mean? And she said, "Anthony's not breathing." And I just started screaming. One of my managers, she took me, put me in her car and drove me to him. And they said, he's gone. And he was laying on the ground inside his dad's house. And they had him covered up. And I was just on the ground next to him and they wouldn't let me touch him. And I was just crying and screaming and my baby was gone. And I can't get the scene out of my mind. Every, nights I can't sleep. I could just see his hands sticking out of the blanket and his hair. And my heart was ripped out of me and there's a hole that will never ever be repaired because of it.
I I think that's part of what woke some of us up too, right? Like if it can happen to Anthony and it's dangerous and it's here.
Anthony's death is one of the reasons for this.
Narcan is in every one of our schools. If something happens on campus, we are prepared. I just said, from my level, we need to have this here. We need to get this in all of our schools right now.
It's not only Anthony's death.
Brenda didn't know it at the time of that good night, but Caden had taken 1.5 counterfeit M30 Percocet or oxycodone pills with his girlfriend. Brenda would find out later the pills were laced with fentanyl.
I got woke up by my husband screaming at me to call 911.
A week after arriving in the hospital, Caden was pronounced dead.
The death toll continued, leading to this 2023 instruction by students at different Vacaville high schools.
And we live here in Vacaville. On January 18th, 2022, my fiance, Raymond Bagwell Sr., died from fentanyl poisoning.
We will show you how much it would really take to kill one person.
It would only take a dose equivalent to 4 grains of sand to kill you.
And at Anthony's high school, Vacaville, Danielle was asked to come speak.
I want these kids to live. I want them to know the pain that it's caused, and I want them to know the dangers of fentanyl. I don't want another parent to go through the pain that I'm going through.
She could barely talk. She was tearing up, and I can't imagine my mom like that, crying, looking at my lifeless body, and for what? Just because I was selfish, because I wanted to feel good for a few minutes.
But it kind of surprised me that it's like happening in our community.
Okay, where exactly are you at Vaca High?
But it's in everything. They're lacing everything. Cocaine, Adderall, the Xanax, Percocet.
You just don't know what has fentanyl in it anymore.
We should have never created it. That is the answer.
Anthony didn't want to die. He did not want to die. He didn't deserve to die.
So what are you going to tell yourself? You've now seen enough, heard enough, and know enough. Fentanyl is here. It's disguised in every kind of pill not coming from a pharmacy, and it's a killer. You've listened to others. Now, listen to yourself.